Hello, fight fans, and welcome to the Combat Challenge podcast. My guest today is a featherweight athlete who's signed to Bellator Promotions with 27 professional fights under his belt and is on a 4-fight winning streak, Mr. Andrew Fisher. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us, my brother.
No, thank you for having us.
One thing I want to ask you straight off, Andrew, is you took 3 years out of the sport and you didn't compete for 3 years. How did that come about? And then how did you end up back in the limelight?
Oh, well, it was a bit, well, it's not a funny story. It's a pretty bad one, actually. But I was signed to ACB, a Russian organization, and I was killing it a bit there. I was doing really well. And I was fighting on their Australia card. And I was meant to fight, Lewis Palomino? Before I had them fights with Gaethje, them wars, I was meant to fight him. So I went there, and he didn't get in the country because of his visa. He had visa problems or whatever. So I kind of got like a last-minute replacement guy. He was a Brazilian guy. So I was still getting a fight, which was good. And I had my last training session, which was the Saturday before, and I got hit with a shot, and I got wobbled, and my eyes went a bit funny, and my vision was a bit weird. That was like. I was doing 3 rounds. That was like my second round of the sparring at the beginning of the second round. And then I'm thinking, God, like I got wobbled there. So I circled off, and my eyes never went back to normal. So I continued sparring. I finished the sparring. I actually switched on loads, and I don't really think I got hit much after that either. But my eyes didn't; they were still weird. And then when I finished, my eyes just never went back to normal. I felt really, it was really, really weird. And then the next day, I woke up and I was ill. I was absolutely ill. I was just exhausted. I couldn't move. My eyes were still playing up as well. And I was kind of just like fighting against it and trying to still just do it because I had to do my weight cut and everything. So I was still trying to do that. But then my friend was one of the commission there, and they kind of seen us, and they just called the fight off as well anyway. So I didn't get the fight. And then about a week later, I started to feel a little bit better. So then we travelled home. And then I knew I'd had a concussion, so I thought I would give it a little bit of time before I trained again. And then so I'll give it like maybe 2 weeks. And then when I tried to train, I was trying to hit some pads. And when I couldn't see the pads probably coming towards us, and I felt really sick. And I got like, it was like a travel sick feeling. I felt really nauseous, and I had to stop. And then I remember going home, and I was sick all that day. And then the same sort of thing, this cycle kept happening. And I went to the doctors, and they were just telling us about that I had a concussion and it could take like so long to get better. And anyway, it just didn't get better. So I said, I didn't know what was wrong either. So this went on for months and months and months. And I was seeing doctors, and I was like trying to pay doctors and stuff like that. And nobody could help us. They were all just telling us, they pretty much told us to go and sit in a dark room really till it kind of got better. And it just, it was awful, and this just built up and up and up. And then like my mental health started to suffer a bit as well. And because I was on a roll as well, I wasn't always one of the better ones. If you look at my record, I had like these massive stints and that. Then I was like building my way back up, and I was kind of like felt I was doing really good. But I was kind of like sick of the doctors telling us there was nothing they could do. So I started doing my own research. And turns out in America, because of, I think there's a film, I didn't watch the film, but there's a film called Concussion in America, and it was the NFL players, and the doctors, they kind of threw loads of money at it to help fix the concussions and stuff. And so there's a guy called Dr. John Leddy. I think he like started this off, and there was the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. And when I was reading loads of medical journals, their names kept popping up, so I kept looking for more stuff with their stuff in. And I would email that Dr. John Leddy, and he was nice enough to reply to us every time, like it wasn't like a long conversation, but he would send us papers or point us in the right direction. So I started trying to research it myself of what I need to do. And so, but this is like, I'm a year in this point, maybe it's a year and a half. So it turns out I had problems with my vestibular system, which is where your body is in space. So it's like these 2 rings in your head. And they're floating about and move, and it tells you where you are. But mine was all messed up, and I didn't know, so I kept getting dizzy. But I didn't even know at the time. I just felt I was just exhausted all the time and tired. But when I started doing these exercises, I got really dizzy. So that meant I had a problem. So I done these things, and I fixed that. I had a problem with my eyes as well, which took us ages to fix. I seen an optician. There was nothing wrong with us. I seen another optician told us there was nothing wrong with us. I seen the third one, and he said I was just getting older. but like, see, if I was looking at the optician, he would be here, and like the walls were behind him, but it was like blending into the wall. So I was saying I can't see. Like I can just see in 2D now in certain situations. But I still didn't get any help. And then I started researching shooting journals about getting your eyesight better and stuff like that. So I started doing that, and that led us on to seeing a behavioural ophthalmologist, and he fixed my eyes within 3 months with a bit of string and 3 beads called the Brock string. But this was like I was maybe like 2.5 years in by this point, you know. And then I started training again, and then I went being able to fight again. So it's quite a long, winded journey.
Man, it must have been so frustrated for you as
No,
well,
it's awful.
Andrew.
Awful, especially when you're seeing people like medical professionals, and like I just wanted help really, but they were just, I don't know. I think the NHS is really good over here, but I think the fact it's free as well, it's like kind of if you do have a problem, they don't really care. But
well, I'm pleased you got it sorted, even though it took nearly 3 years. Can you share with myself and the viewers your journey from a young age and how you ended up getting into martial arts, and you've ended up on this conveyor belt where you are now?
I've obviously got ginger hair, so I used to get picked on a bit as a kid. So I just started because I just wanted to be tough, really. I just didn't want to get picked on anymore. So I started maybe as about 17-year-old, and I just went to a local jiu-jitsu gym. It was like a traditional one, not Brazilian jiu-jitsu or anything. I went there. I wasn't very good, really, to be honest. I tried, but I wasn't one of the better ones. And then I had a fight. I enjoyed it, and I just kept having a few more fights and stuff, and it just built up from there, really. But I was never really. I'm still not one of the better ones I would say. But I just keep going back and keep trying my hardest.
Your last fight was against Ashley Grimshaw, which took place last year in Bellator Milan. Can you tell me the preparation for Ashley and talk myself and the viewers through the fight itself?
Oh, well, the preparation was a bit of a disaster because Ashley's left-handed, or he has been for every single fight. So I don't really have many left-handed sparring partners. There's one guy in my gym, so I made the most of sparring with him, but he's one of my students, so it's not quite the same. So I had to do a lot of traveling. I went to Ireland next gym with Rodney Moore. He had a few guys there for us to spar with, and I ended up left-handed guys, and I got loads of amateur boxers in who were left-handed, and I would spar with them. A guy called Anthony Austin, who's a really good amateur. So everybody I sparred with was left-handed, and then when we fought, he came out right-handed. So that threw us off a bit the first round.
And did he stay right-handed through the whole fight?
The whole fight. So I asked him afterwards, because he's never had a fight where he's been right-handed, to my knowledge. And I asked him afterwards, and he says he was only going left-handed because he had an injury. So he had to go left-handed for years. I'm assuming maybe it's a leg, possibly, and so he's had to hide that leg so he couldn't get hit. But so that was a bit weird as well. So a bit of a mind, messes with your mind a bit the first round, doesn't it?
Oh, but it does it, because it throws it all out of the cage, doesn't it? You're thinking, hold on a minute, I ain't trained for this. How did the fight go? Just talk us through the fight.
Same. I was a bit not put off. I've done plenty orthodox rounds anyway, so it wasn't really a problem. It just took us a bit of shock. It was like, I don't know what's going on here. I was a bit slow starting. I think he was kicking my legs quite a bit the first round, and every time I got close to him, he would clinch up and knees. And then towards the end of the round, I started like finding a bit of a hole for my jab, and I took him down right at the end of the round. And he, every time I give him a bit of space, he would attack a submission, and he went over. He got a nice deep heel hook on us, and it kind of like I felt on my ankle all crunching and popping. But I managed to get out, and then he ended the round on top. So I think the judges gave him that round. It was a close round, but they gave it to him still. In the second round, I found my range a bit better. I was landing my jab nicely. I landed a few nice calf kicks, and they were taking him off his feet. I had a bit top position as well. So I definitely won that round. Then the third round, it was a bit more of the same as the second. I really started up it a bit more, and I started landing to find a hole for my right hand and stuff, and I think I put it on a bit more.
And before the MC announced, were you quietly confident that you'd won the fight?
Yeah. I think it was quite obvious I'd won.
Along your journey, Andrew, there'll be people who have shaped and molded you in the martial arts world. Is there any coaches or mentors that have played a significant part whilst you've been on this journey?
Yeah, there's like up here in the northeast, like my generation of fighters, where I would say kind of where like where the first ones coaches really. There's not a lot of coaches here. It was kind of like myself and my friends. We would just train together. And then we've all broke off and now we're all coaches. But I've had a few good boxing coaches over the years. There's like my original boxing coach, Sean Casey, he helped us a lot. Like my current one now, Johnson McClumfer. They're excellent. They're phenomenal boxing coaches. And I went to America to train at the lab. And I feel when I trained there, Benson Henderson's gym. Do you know that one? And I trained with a guy under a guy called John Crouch in Sheehan Nico. And I feel that's when I started to actually develop as a coach and as a fighter, just off seeing how they'd done it. And I took a lot of details of how to coach and how to learn from them.
You mentioned that now you're coaching yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about your gym? What's it called? And do you have other instructors that help distribute the knowledge out there?
My gym's called TFT MMA, and I am getting a few more guys in helping. I've got a good grappling coach there. And as of now, I'm busy refurbing the gym, so I have like 2 big matted areas, so I can just work with the fighters, and I just need to give other people a bit more responsibility, I think, because I've always struggled like delegating. I think, you know, when you try to do it all yourself, but it just doesn't work, does it? It's too hard. So I'm delegating a bit better now, so I'm going to work with just the fighters. But I think I've got 18 professional fighters now, so we're doing all right.
And what does TFT stand for?
Oh, I really cringe at this, you know. That's why I got shown the TFT. So it was like, one of my friends said it's a joke, a team fish tank, because I'm called Fisher, and everybody calls us Fish, and it just stuck like that. And I really hate it.
Well, I knew when you mentioned TFT, I'm thinking, hold on a minute, he's not telling me the full name. I need to know what TFT stands for.
I hate it. I quite like it when they just say TFT, but I hate stuff like that. Anything out with my name in it, I hate it.
Well, it looks like you're trying to keep active during this crazy time we're in. Are you able to keep fight ready? Are you able to get some training in yourself?
Yeah, I think the professionals are allowed to train. I've had the council's told us we're allowed. So I've got the professionals in. I've got quite a few bodies my weight, so I couldn't not train. I don't think I would have a hard time if I didn't train. So I'll just keep ticking over. I was hoping I might be getting out in like February time. That's what originally Bellator said, but then that's just been put back. So I'm not really too sure now what's happening.
But you're still in contract with them, aren't they? So as
I've got comes up. I had a 5-fight deal starting off my last fight, so I've still got 4 fights left.
Talking about fights, Andrew. During your MMA career, is there any fight that's been really rewarding? Doesn't have to be one that you win, or any sort of adversity you've overcome. But is there anything that sticks in your mind that you'd like to share with myself and the viewers?
I think it was definitely my last one, the one against Ashley Grimshaw. Just kind of what I went through to get there with all the problem with the concussion and stuff like that. It took a long time, and obviously the nerves were it was 3 years off as well, and I was even training for it. I was in the back of my mind, I was quite scared in case it happened again, and I didn't know if I could still do it. Maybe I was thinking I was just getting a bit too old and stuff. But so to go out, and I thought I had a good performance as well, and to go out and win as well, it kind of meant the world. It was really. So I feel that's the time I've went through the most to get there.
You're on an MMA journey, and you're on this conveyor belt. Yourself and other athletes are at a certain level, so you're more like the premiership level. There's people who are also on the same journey, but they're a bit further behind. From your knowledge and experience, what could you share with those athletes?
I just think don't rush it. You're not going to be the finished model straight away. It takes a lot of time. Like, set yourself little goals. And just do better. Like, say, it takes years and years, you know, to get good at stuff. Like, I remember going to a boxing gym and just getting absolutely leathered off everybody. For years and years, I used to get dropped all the time with body shots, and you know, I learned from that how to keep my elbows tucked in. It's just like pain sometimes your best teacher. It should be just little wins every day, really, rather than trying to be perfect all the time.
Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your time with us and sharing your knowledge with myself and the viewers. And I look forward to having you on future podcasts as we go on this journey together.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.